Alrighty, everybody, welcome back. We are back for another session of SRQ Quilters. We finished up the sundials and cobblestones, and so far what I've seen has been amazing, absolutely beautiful. Thank you to everyone who participated. I absolutely fell in love with all the different versions of that pattern. You can, of course, find that pattern on my Etsy site in its entirety, or you can buy a week at a time. The next one starts next week. You still have time to get in on the next one. It's called Around We Go. I'm kind of in love with the secondary pattern that arises from this next one that's coming up. It is mystery. You don't get to see what it looks like. But what's behind me is quilt I've been working on for a while. So we are going to play around. Site says Success Quilt Expo. Didn't go to the sleeping. Sorry, I'll get that. Okay. Anyway, so today we're just going to play around a little bit because we won't start the next one until next week. And again, still time to get in on it. You just need to direct message me your email so I can get you in on the getting the weekly patterns. And yes, this is weekly. So every Sunday at 4, you will find me right here doing the next step. And again, this is just like eating an elephant. You can't, when you look at an elephant in its entirety, it's huge. It looks like this mountainous, thing you have to try to, to accomplish. This is our elephant, but we're going to take it one bite at a time, one step at a time, and we're going to quilt us a beautiful elephant. Well, around we go anyways. All right, so I'm really excited to get today going. I did notice my eye is a little more swollen than usual. I apologize. I'm dealing with a little bit of sinuses, which makes my face swell up some. So I apologize. I look pretty rough. So I'll try to keep the camera off of me and on the table. So let's go to the table and see what we have. Tabletop. All right. So what you're seeing right here is a partially finished block of what was on the back wall. It still needs one more piece over here, and that's going to go on the wall next. But let's start. Let's see. Let me read my message here. Oh, yeah, Miss Ann. It's funny because we were talking about getting up at 10:30 from falling asleep somewhere between 7:30 and 8 o'clock. And so with sleeping, a couple hours like in the evening like that and then waking up, it was about 2:30 before I went back to bed, and it was rough. I was not tired. So trying to sleep knowing that I needed to be up the next day. It's a vicious cycle. I hate to say it, but it's a vicious cycle. Also, please don't forget to do thumbs up, share this with other people, and it says that I have no subscribers. I don't know what that means because if you subscribe on my Facebook, and I'll try to figure that out. Actually, I don't think I have enough stuff to be able to do subscribers yet. But anyways, at least follow me for now. But when I get subscribers, then I can start sending out notifications right through my SRQ so that we can get information out to people as soon as it's up and running. Looks like it's just you and me today, Miss Ann. I know there's somebody else on there. I just don't know who it is because they haven't greeted. So please, if you're out there, greet. Let me know who you are. It's hard for me to see, especially because my Facebook isn't posting any comments, and I'm not sure why. I'm not sure why it's not letting me post. I don't know if you had a chance to see the blocks behind me, but they're basically a shadow box. The site. We are playing with scraps. Here's some scraps. They are leftover pieces from other projects. Here's one of my favorite pieces. Look at this. Isn't this a beautiful triangle? But it's way too big. So the actual piece that we're going to be using, this piece right here, is a 6.5 by a square piece. And I got to show you, this is the actual pattern that I wrote out. Ta-da! See? There's all the all my notes. There's all the pieces for it. So that's my real technical part of trying to do this. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to do like I always do, which is take a piece of fabric and add another piece to it. And let's see, what do I have here? And you know, the best part about this is it doesn't need to be a real big piece. Oh, I know. Why don't we use this piece? It has the writing on it. I love doing the selvages. And we're just going to put this piece down here and we're going to stitch it right across here at as close to 1/4 of an inch as we can get, just so that we don't take up too much of that writing, because I'd really love that writing to show up. So let me switch you over here. No, Miss Margaret, we are not doing the new project today. Yeah, I was having a hard time for it to come up. I couldn't get anybody. It wasn't coming up. I don't know what was going on. Here, let me do this real quick. All right. So we're going to stitch this little piece right here. And I'm not going to cut it only because with my cutter on there, because just lately it's been popping back up at me. All right, let me hang on. Let me, okay. Let's see. Yeah, we're not going to start the quilt until next week. Although I do have some new fabric. And it's so pretty. So pretty. Okay. Here I am off the piece here. So we're going to just give it a little quick press there. And then we're going to press here. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, today we're just going to hang out for a few minutes. We're going to have a little bit of fun because it's been a couple weeks since we've been together, and I would really just love to have a chance to hang out with you guys just for a few minutes. We don't have to stay on long, but for a few minutes and have some fun. So let's go over here. Oh, that's what I'm working on right now. It's a I don't know if you can tell, but some people call it a floating quilt, a picture quilt. For me, it's all about scrappy, so it's going to be a scrappy quilt. Okay, let me get out there because that's way too much of my face to see in one day. All right, let's go over here. We're going to give ourselves another 1/4 inch seam of this scrap fabric. Oh, I hadn't ironed it. I'm sorry. Did it again. As you see, I just used a little bit of just a little piece of fabric right here. It doesn't even go all the way to the end. So let's go back over here. Maybe I can just make them side by side. Quilt I didn't want to make. What kind of tape do you have for the seam allowance on your sewing machine? Oh, that's Miss Jerry. This is the kind of tape I use, and I really found, you know, as long as I get it lined up properly, and that's probably the hardest part, is just making sure I get it on there properly. And my needle does not move. It is not the kind that you can adjust from side to side. It is a single stitch. It does one stitch and one stitch only, and I don't have to worry about the needle shifting or shifting the needle or having the needle in the wrong place with that tape. So once I put that tape down, it can pretty much stay down. And I love that about that tape. And I think I want to say I might have gotten it from Amazon. I'm still trying to set up my Amazon store. So hopefully I can get this listed into the Amazon store as soon as I get my approval and everything from Amazon. All right, so as you see, everything goes this way, but I just want to go in a weird direction. I don't want to keep going where I'm going. So let's add something else to it. Let's see. Let's go this way. I don't want to lose my little fossil because I really like that name there. So we're just going to put it right there, and I'm going to pin it just so it doesn't slip out on me. See, and I don't have a problem. I'm not one of those people that's kind of OCD about making sure everything is straight. In fact, I feel like the weirder it is, the better. The better I like it. All right, let's go back to here. But I do need to make sure I do a straight stitch. That is one thing. Unless you can purposely set it for a curve, you need to make sure you're doing a straight stitch. As straight as possible anyways. If you have to draw a line, then draw a line. Yeah, that looks good. That looks beautiful. I do too, Miss Jerry. I love those quilts as well. I so enjoy just taking something that would have gotten thrown away and just making something completely different out of it. I'd say it's my passion, but pretty much I have a lot of passions, and this is just one of many. All right, so I actually have a piece of a quilt that I was working on. Actually, this was just a trial. This was a trial run for a quarter square triangle. For quarter square, isn't that right? All right, here we go. Needed to straighten that out just a smidge. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put that piece right here so I can salvage my little section. I'm gonna move it up a little bit. Yeah, that looks good. Just kind of give it an idea where I want to put it. And we're going to go back to, hang on. All my little icons moved. What's really neat is after I'm done with these pieces, I can always turn around and use the pieces I've cut off because I've just built up more scrap. I think I saw a Facebook post the other day that talked about how is it that I make a scrap quilt and wind up with more scraps, right? Let me just check the back here. Oh, hang on. Okay, let me just check the back and make sure everything is okay. Everything looks good. We're going to trim off. Just take a pair of scissors and kind of hack that off right there. Oop, these are not my fabric cutting scissors. Those are my, oops, everything is getting in my way fabric scissors. Oh look, I even got points. Ha! How'd that happen? I didn't even try. Now I can always check it to see how my 6.5 inches is going. Well, hey, Miss Claudine, how are you doing today? I need my tissue. You know, I was so happy to be able to help you pick out your fabric yesterday. Just beautiful colors. I'm in love with your colors. Okay. And because I think we're going to wind up needing to put some down here, I think I'm going to go right here. And again, I'm going to pin it in place because I just want to keep it from moving around on me. All right, now let's get this back over to the needle. Come on, I swear it keeps moving. There. I know the camera is so close, but you know, I really don't like the way you can't really see the foot real well from the angle that the camera was at. So I got a little bit closer, hoping that maybe that would make a difference. All right, let's come on over here. And so here it is. We're going to fold it out and iron it. So let me go ahead and take my Karen K. Buckley scissors. You know how much I love my Karen K. Buckleys. I think it's Karen K, isn't it? I know it's Karen Buckley. All right, we're going to throw that in our scrap pile. As you can see, this block is getting bigger and bigger. Y'all, I have so many bags of scrap fabrics that now some of them I finally just started putting into the dog beds and not looking back, because otherwise I am a fabric hoarder. I will hang on to it to the very last minute. Oh, it was my pleasure helping out. I was just happy to be there. Let's see, what other colors do we have over here? Ooh, I got this one. Look at this one. Look at that, isn't that pretty? So we're gonna add that to this one, and then we're gonna check it and see if we can get a 6.5 inch, which I'm pretty sure we can. I just like making sure I got plenty. Okay. Again, normally I don't pin, but I just don't want it to slip on me. So let's pin this in place. Oops, sorry. Let me get that. There we go. Sorry, my foot's a little heavy today. It's kind of like a lead foot, only for the sewing machine. I got a lead foot, and yeah, the great part is I basically have a Cadillac sewing machine or a BMW sewing machine, and I mean just in that it's got some speed. Not that it's price-wise like that, because it's not a real expensive machine at all, but it is fast. I love this thing. It's a Brother PQ 1500, and this thing will go. Oh, hang on. Sorry. There we go. Okay. And it will just go. And no, I'm not using any foundation. I thought about cutting some 6.5 inch squares from the dryer sheets, but I'll be honest, all the ones I've done previously, since I've been working on this for over, I want to say I've been working on it for at least 4 years now. So ever since I started working on it, I didn't start with the dryer sheets, and so I don't want to start adding any more to it. I'm just trying to make sure that I'm at least doing 1/4 inch. And it's okay to do extra, but like with this, I really wanted this to show up. So I did just 1/4 inch. Yep, it's a crumb quilt. It is. I've heard a lot of people call it a lot of things. But yep, I've heard crumb quilt, scrap quilt, string. I think I've heard string. Okay, so this right here is a Omni Grid. I bought a set of these, and they came with 2.5, 4.5, 6.5, 8.5, 9.5, and I think a 12.5. And you know what? I like them. I like them a lot. Thing is, though, is I love my Quilter Selects. I love my Quilter Select rulers, but I don't have any that are like this, and they're so stinking expensive that I just I can't afford to invest a lot in all those kind. So I was able to get this whole set, and I'm not even sure where I got it, but I did get it, and I love it. And when I'm doing these squares like this, that's perfect. Okay, so it allows me to see my entire quilt block, and I can just kind of move it around and decide where I want it, trying to make sure I miss parts like this, but keeping in the rest of it. Let's see, and then I got my, I'm very eclectic. I have a Martelli Ergo rotary cutter, but I also have a Fiskars, which is the one I started out with. I have an Olfa, and I do love that one. That one's a 60. and I love my 60. And I have Omni, and I have Quilter Select. My mats are some of the first ones I ever started with, and a lot of what I have now is all Martelli. I'm very eclectic. I use whatever works. They are expensive. Yeah, Miss Margaret says they are expensive. Yes, they are. They are, but they really are worth the money. There's no question about that. But there are just some, some things you just can't spend a lot of money on. And if, there are other things that are well worth spending. Oh, it's not going to come out right no matter what I say. It's going to be awful. I'm going to say it all wrong. Let's just say that there's a time that you can afford to spend the money on it, and there are times when you just have to say, no, not this week. And Quilter Select is a little bit like that. It's well worth the money. If you can spend it on it, do it. But if you can't, there's plenty of other things that will work just as well. But you'll see a difference. Like with this one, I don't know if you can tell, but I actually added some of that Grippy. It's a spray that you can spray on the back so that it doesn't slide around. Because if you've ever, all right, here's one that I don't believe has any on it. As you can see here, well, it's catching that seam right now, but it slides around real easy, even though I'm placing pressure. You see my finger? I'm placing pressure. This one has a little bit of the Grippy still left on it. And the Grippy helps me. So when the ones that I use that I don't want them to slide around, I will do a thin layer of Grippy on it to help me so that it doesn't slide around, because they do slide. But if you use the Grippy, it helps. All right, so here we have, pardon me, the 6.5 inch block. We're going to add one piece here. And we're going to add one piece here. Now look how I've got this. I've got this turquoise over here in this corner and the turquoise over here in this corner. And I'm lining up, as my daughter said, the L. I asked her, I was like, oh, so what do you think of my quilt? Do you see it? And she's like, see what? I'm like, she's like, the L? I see the L. No, not the L. Anyways, so this is what's going to make that shadow. And you can make that shadow, this shadow, you can make it very thin. It doesn't have to be, this thick. It can be a lot thinner, which makes it look like it's floating, not quite as high off the ground. I don't know if that helps you to see it any better. So it looks like it's floating a little bit closer to the ground. Or if you do it this side, this way, you see that it's a little bit further away. Or if you do a really wide, I think you start to run into a few problems, but other than that, you have kind of creative abilities to do what you want to with it. Miss Margaret says, I like them. I would just like to spend my money elsewhere. I don't blame you. Don't blame you at all. Okay, let's come back over here and get this thing sewn. Where did my mouse go? I swear, this double monitor thing, I love it and hate it all at the same time, because my mouse, I can never figure out where the cursor goes. I think it just kind of goes off in its own direction. Oops, sorry, ran over it. Yes, I did. And I was doing so well. All right. We're going to snip that off. Snip that off. Come back over here. And then we're going to iron this out. And of course, I got to have my Craig iron, my Carson iron. Because everybody loves the Carson iron. And look at that, see? Stays down. Gosh, I love that thing. And what's neat is, I don't believe he adds anything to it. It's a naked piece of wood. It's not even like it's treated with something, except whatever the wood was originally, wherever it originated from, it might have had treating that way. But these wood irons are basically naked wood that he just works in his little tool shop. And I love them, and I have them in my Etsy shop if you're interested. Etsy? Yeah, Etsy. Okay. So let's take this back over here and yes, again, we will start next week. So for those of you who have not had an opportunity to get signed up but would like to get signed up, you still have a little bit of time. Just DM me, direct message me with your email so that I can put you on the list, and each Monday you will receive the instructions for the next week. Okay. And we're going to fold that out. And I think I finally have enough squares to do my to start the quilt itself, which is hanging on the wall. Right now it's still in pieces, but I think I can start. I think I can get it going. So, all right, there we have that. I'm going to give it a quick iron. It's a bit of a bulk right there from my point on my quarter square. All right. The very next thing we're going to do is on this particular block. Let me grab one off of here. As you see, on the opposite side, we have this piece right here. And that's easy enough because we already have some strips cut right here. Now we're going to leave some of these without, here, and get my finger in here. We are going to leave some of these squares, some of these blocks without that piece because we're going to run a section down all the way around the outside, and then for one of the borders, and of course this is going to be the sashing as well. But what we're going to do, now we're also going to pretend that this is a full quilt top, and I'll tell you why, because I want to explain real quick one of the ways that you can cut a border for your quilt. So if this is your quilt and you've got it laid out, and instead of going through and measuring the piece of fabric, you can lay the quilt at one end of the, or lay the border at one end of the quilt over here, take the border, run it all the way down to the other side at the end of your quilt top, and then measure it this way, and then chop it off. Just like that. Now you have a border for your quilt top that will match your top, and you know that your quilt top needs to fit within this border. Okay? So we had a big discussion about that at the guild meeting the other day, and I was trying to explain about making sure that you have your border to match your quilt top, not just a strip that you run along the edge, because too many times we wind up feeding too much fabric into that edge on your quilt top. Should you measure it? Sure. But one of the things I find is just as easy is if I lay out my quilt top and just run that border all the way from one edge all the way down to the other edge, flip it over and trim that little section off. This piece is now big enough. And now what you want to do is you want to put a pin at one end, put a pin at the other end, of course making sure it matches up. Now imagine this is a quilt top, so it's a lot bigger. And then you're going to want to put a pin, find the center, put a pin there, making sure that it measures out, that you've got it, nice and snug, so that the middle is the middle. And then you're going to pin again here and here. However many pins you need, or clips, or whatever you need to make sure that it's all clipped in there, and that you have the beginning and the end. It's the biggest problem we have with it's the biggest problem that we have when we're putting a border on to a quilt top, is that we tend to use too much fabric in our border because we don't have anything to measure to make sure, because we've just cut a strip. We have a strip that goes, it could be 44 inches, it could be 88 inches, it could be, 100 inches, and we're just slapping it on the side and just stitching it on there and then trimming off the excess. And oftentimes we're using way too much border and we get those wavy, wonky borders that look like a poodle skirt. Hey, Miss Sheila. Miss Sheila is actually, God bless her, over at our Suncoast site. Oh no, there she is. Make sure you run the border through the center of the quilt. Yes. And just like when I did it up here, I put it in the center of the quilt, the center of the quilt top, and it's the best place to do it, because if you're going to have a shortfall, I can almost guarantee your shortfall most of the time is going to be the center. The center of your quilt is almost always going to be like this. Okay? So if you do it in the center, then your long armor can help to get it to more of a an even all the way straight down, instead of trying to pull your centers out to match the top and the bottom. I hope that makes sense. All right, let's come on over here. Let's put this side on real quick. And there we go. I'm glad to see you made it, Miss Sheila. Thank you, thank you. I wasn't sure I was going to make it on. I was trying, and I was having so much. My USB hub rebooted like 5 times, and 5 times I had to go back in and re-add in the cameras so that they would show up. It was very, very frustrating, and I thought, man, I'm going to have to wind up canceling this. But fortunately, it did not do that. Okay, I think it stayed. You know, I'm actually okay if for some reason that the main camera doesn't come up, you know, the one that shows my face. I just soon leave it off anyways. All right, so let's get our little Craig iron out here. Give it a little once over down that seam. Beautiful. Okay. Here, hang on. Let me grab a couple of these. I've got some that have, here, all right. Let's go, okay, now you gotta go to the big camera. Now I guess I gotta put my big girl panties on and fess up. Okay, so if you can see it, it's actually difficult to see from that angle, and I don't dare move that camera. But this is what I've got right here. These, and I'm going to put one that does not have that, oops, let's turn it this way, that does not have this border here on this side, because on that side, where that side is going to finish, I want to leave this open because I'm going to use one strip as opposed to, you know, sections of strips. Okay, so let's go ahead and put this one up here, like this. And then we're going to take this one down. And this piece that we just finished, so this piece we have that we just finished would go into a blank spot. And that is where I am at with this shadow quilt. And I can't wait for it to be done because I have enough squares that I'm pretty sure that when I'm done it's going to be a king size and I can put that on my bed. Now the reason why I would not put this up for sale on Etsy like I'm going to do with some of the other quilts that we've done is because this quilt has a lot of scraps from different designers that use licenses, like Minnie Mouse. There's Minnie Mouse in here. I got some Harry Potter stuff in there because these are all things that I had done previously, and so that kind of stuff I don't believe I could put that up for sale. But it will eventually be a king size, and I'm so close to finishing it that I'm just getting excited. I pull it out at retreats and stuff and work on it because it gives me something to work on. But this is a UFO, and if anybody wants to know, a UFO is an unfinished object, okay? So this is a UFO that I've been working on for a while, and it has been a treat. I have really enjoyed it. Well, this episode is basically done. Do you have any questions about this technique, the quilt? I know that the shadow quilts are very popular, and they were popular because of family pictures would be added, and oh, I love the idea of that, especially with printers. These days you can definitely get a really nice picture printed onto fabric using freezer paper or your favorite method, or you can even send it out to places like Spoonflower or some of these others and have the pictures printed onto fabric through them, which of course will make them more durable. But it is really, really fun and neat, and there's so much you can do. You can do blocks with flowers in it. You can do, like I love flamingos. I would love to do this with like some flamingo fabrics. That would warm my heart. My grandkids, I mean, the more pictures of my grandkids I put up there, I would just love that as well. Yes, please don't forget to do the hearts and the likes. You know how much Facebook loves that stuff, and they are especially kind to me if you do. And remember to follow, and as soon as I can figure out what to do to get subscriptions on here, so that when it comes time, we can go ahead and when I post stuff like this, because I go on pretty early, and it will send an automatic message to you to let you know that it's coming on. So again, we're going to start up next week with the Around We Go quilt. It is a mystery quilt. You're not going to know what it looks like. I'm just going to send you the instructions. You're going to cut out what you need to cut out. Be ready. We're going to do a block together so you know what we're working on, and then the rest is up to you, and you will have homework until the next week. All right. Listen, you guys have been amazing. I have really enjoyed this. I missed you guys so much. 2 weeks was a little much, but I made it. I did it. I went 2 weeks without being online. And I don't know if you noticed, but I did post a little snippet, just a 60-second video based on a quilt block that, you know, I have trouble with. So I went ahead and did a little photo video with a lot of writing and some of my cute little terminologies and things like that. So make sure if you get a chance, go ahead and go in and look at it. I think it's had almost 500 views already, which is pretty good. Pretty good. 500 views? Maybe it was a little more than that. Anyways, I just never know. If for some reason you don't like this video, if there's a reason why you're going to give me a thumbs down, please, please, please let me know what the reason is. I am doing my best to bring you good content, something that you would enjoy. If you don't like it, I understand. My mama said if you didn't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. But if there's something that you need to let me know, I am open to, you know, hearing what you have to say, but just make sure it's nice. Make sure it's constructive. You know, don't just be mean just because. I mean, am I the most beautiful woman in the world? No. Am I the tiniest woman in the world? No. But that's okay. I'm happy with me. And I'd like you to be happy with me too, but if you're not, that's okay. Because it's a free world. Actually, it's a free America for now. That's all I'm going to say on that. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have moved on there. Sorry, my still bothering me. I hope you guys have a wonderful night. We're going to do prayer time next. So that's your 30-second warning, or 10-second, or however many seconds warning that we are going to do prayer time. And again, I want to thank y'all for sticking with me and hanging with me and coming back on. And we're going to start up again next week. And I can't wait to get that first email out to you. Oh, wait. Fabric, you guys, I almost forgot the fabric. Listen, my fabric came in, so I have a new set of fabrics for this next quilt. So if you want to get a quilt kit from this new fabric that I just got, it'll run you about $75 for the kit. That'll give you everything you need for the top plus the binding. And if you do $100 for the kit, I'll even cut the strips for you. Okay, so there's the white. Here is the green. Now this one is in place of the blue. Okay, remember I talked about using a coordinating color. So it's okay to use a different color for the blues. Just make sure they coordinate. So 2 different blues. I love these textures. Look at this. This is so cool. I was surprised it came in today because I just didn't expect it to show up. And then there was the red or pink, and here's the red, and then there's the yellow. Oop, that slid away from me. So these are the colors that I picked up, and you are welcome to purchase a kit. Again, I'll have them on my Etsy site, or if you're interested and you're local, you can just text me and we'll go back and forth until we can get it set up. But these are just some beautiful, beautiful textures and colors. And this is just, it's going to be gorgeous. I can't wait. So these are probably the colors I'll be using to do the demonstration online. The sample quilt has been done in a different set of colors. So when we're done, you'll get to see those. Okay. Thank you, Miss Jerry. Thank you, thank you. And again, if you're interested in the fabric kits, $75 or $100. And for $100, I will cut the strips for you. You'll just have to do all the subcuts for it. But then I'll have everything else done. Okay, now it's time for prayer time. And I want to thank you again. Appreciate your taking your time out of your day to come watch and to hang with me. Father, thank you. Thank you for another wonderful day, another wonderful moment to share, to be able to put our passions out there and share them with people who have like-mindedness in the quilting world, Father. I just ask you to bless each person. Father, give them whatever they need, Father, to make it through this next week, to make it through the next day, to make it through the next night. You know their needs, you know their wants and their desires, and you said you'll always give us exactly what we need. I just give you all the honor, all the hope and the prayers. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. Y'all, thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful evening, and I look forward to hearing from you. Again, thank you so much. The quilt tops that have been posted on, are sent to me, I will get those posted on there. They're just beautiful. I love them. Some gorgeous colors. It's such a blessing to me to see all the different styles that you guys came out with for colors, and they're just beautiful. And I know every once in a while I hear somebody say, but they don't match. Listen, your quilts are absolutely beautiful. I got goosebumps just thinking about it. They're gorgeous, and they are yours. You picked out those colors. You picked out that whole where this color was going to go, where that color was going to go. You did an amazing job, and I just think you guys are fabulous. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful night. And let me check my questions. No questions on there. All right. Take care.